would all go and pick daffodils. And I said to the girls today, I said, this is what my birthday smells like. If you ever had a smell for an occasion, this is exactly what my birthday smells like. I can recall this is very much when you smell something. I don't know if y'all have ever had this experience, but it brings back memories. Smell can so bring you back to a time and a place. And I remember one of my favorite birthday parties as a little girl. My sister Robbie, her birthday is the 11th of March and mine's the 31st. And Robbie and I would have we'd have combined birthdays. She's 3 years younger than I am. And so we would have a spend the night party. And I remember going and picking daffodils and Mama making the prettiest cake I have ever seen. I thought it was the prettiest cake. And so it brought back such wonderful memories. So that's why I'm excited to make this arrangement for you. Anyway, I'll quit blabbing. We're going to use this compote container. I have taken about a half a block of fresh floral foam that has been soaked, and I've added it into this container. I am going to tape it in using waterproof tape. So I'm going to take this tape and I am going to tape my foam into place. Now when y'all come on, please tell me hello. Tell me how you're doing this afternoon. I hope you are having a wonderful February the 29th. That date only comes around every so many years, right? I guess what, 7 years? Is that right? A leap year's every 7?
I think so.
That's not very often, right?
Yeah.
So happy leap day to you guys.
You have lots of hellos.
Hey guys, hello. So glad you're all here with me. So I am just taking this tape and
Every 4 years.
Every 4, thank you. That was
I had to look it up because I did not know.
Girl, I'm glad you corrected me. Every 4 years. So it doesn't come too terribly often. 4 years is still a kind of long time not to have a birthday. If you're a leap day birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. That would be a fun birthday, I think.
Anita Green says, hello from Oklahoma. I love milk glass. I inherited several pieces from my mom.
Oh, I love it too. And I've collected a lot. So this is one of my favorite because it does make a beautiful flower arrangement. So I've taped my foam into place. And next what I'm going to do is start with a little bit of greenery. Now the reason I'm going to start with my greenery, because I always start with greenery. Why would I have to have a reason, right? But at first I thought I'm not going to put any greenery in this arrangement. We were just going to do the daffodils, narcissus, and then some blooming branches with some ranunculus. But I need to cover this floral foam, and I'm afraid I don't have any very large mass flowers to cover the foam. So we're going to start with a little bit of greenery. We've got some eucalyptus, seeded eucalyptus. So I'm going to use my floral cutters, and I am going to cut my eucalyptus and tuck it into this floral foam.
Maria, I think she means scissors. She says, I like your scissors. Where did you buy them?
So these are actually floral snips. They're made specifically for floral design. I picked these up on Amazon, and I will link that for you. She's on Facebook or YouTube? Facebook. Okay, I'll link it in the comments for you.
Your mama says hello.
Hello, my mama. I was telling them about that birthday party that you gave me and Robbie at the camp house, and you made the prettiest cake I ever had with that little bundt cake, and it had those pretty candles. I was telling the girls about it today. I said, isn't it funny how smells will bring back memories?
Miss Valerie McDonald asks if this is for your house.
This is. It's just for fun. It might have to go to Mama's house because Mama really enjoys her flowers. But yes, it'll go home.
Maria Norman says it was my youngest birthday yesterday. He missed the leap day by a few hours.
Oh my goodness. Well, happy birthday to your youngest. And Rhea, you have just boy babies, is that right?
Because I remember her saying one time that even all, like, it was like you, all the animals are boys, I think.
Yes, I think she has just boy babies. All right, so you can see I'm just kind of coming in with some eucalyptus. I'm next going to use a little bit of this Israeli ruscus, and I'm going to take it and cut it into smaller pieces, and I'm just going to tuck it down low into this container.
Miss Shelley says, hope your day is going good. Our son was born on the same day as you, the last day of March.
The last day of March. I said I just missed being a fool. Mama was induced. I guess I would have stayed there forever. She said I would. She said they had to. I was already 2 weeks late, and they had to induce. I was just going to stay in there. It was warm.
Miss Julie says it's sunny in Pennsylvania, but she and her husband are sick.
Oh, Miss Julie, I'm sorry you're sick. Sorry you're not feeling good. So what I'm doing here, guys, is I am just covering the foam. Basically, was my goal with the foliage is just to kind of cover this foam.
Miss Deborah Locke asks, what did you call the pins you used on the wreath you made with artificial flowers to hold the foam onto the stand?
They are called Dixon pins, D-I-X-O-N, Dixon pins. And it is a wood pick on each end, and then in between, what holds them together is just a little flat piece of metal, and so it bends really well and it forms too. So usually you'll use it when using that metal stand, and it will bend and it'll grip that wire on the metal stand.
Rhea says, yes, 2 boys, Harris and my baby Harvey. Both mine were induced, both 10 days late.
Oh, wow. Both of mine came. Owen was early and Micah was early. Owen was 1 day early. Micah was 7 days early, 8 days early. Anyway, they were both early babies. Well, you say they're early, 1 day early. Owen was due on my grandmother's birthday, and he came a day early. So he was 1 day before her birthday, but she said it was the best gift she ever got. So that worked out really nice. Okay, so let me show you. This is just my greened out container. It's just a compost container. I will cover any tape that's showing, so don't worry about that. I'll do that in the end. But there is just my greenery. Now, I went to a friend's house and I cut a couple of different blooming branches. And Victoria, I think we may back this camera up a little bit because I think I got it too close for us to show, for you to see. There we go. All the branches, because I'm feeling a little close. So what I'm going to do, I cut these branches out of a neighbor's yard. So this is called bridal wreath spirea. It's just a white blooming shrub that we have here in Mississippi. So everything has started to bloom early for us. Because it was so warm for several days, everything has come out. So here is the spirea. And then I also cut a little bit of forsythia, and I'll show you that. So what I thought with this arrangement is I kind of wanted to do it in a crescent shape. So a crescent shape is kind of when they call a crescent moon, it's kind of that little crescent shape. So I thought we would use the branches. I'm just going to take my snips. I'm going to cut those branches, and I'm just going to kind of tuck them right into that foam. And I'll get a good picture of this. It's going to be probably not so easy to see because it's so white. But I'm just going to take my snips, and I'm cutting these little pieces.
On YouTube, Sandra says hello from Florida. Miss Karina is watching from England.
Welcome, guys. So glad you are here. I wonder if I slide this door out of the way, would they be able to see it a little better on this backdrop?
Audrey says, hello, how are you? I live in Phoenix, New York. My name is Audrey.
Audrey, so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. We are great today.
And she asks, oh, here, let me fix this. She asks, where do you buy your seeded eucalyptus? I will be opening my shop in May.
So I buy all of my flowers, 98% of my flowers come from a company called Budsy. And I get fresh flowers. I get most of my foliage from them. Message me. And you can actually message me over on Facebook, or you can email me at flowersbythebunch@yahoo, and I will give you all of their information. They are wonderful. The quality is fantastic, and the price is right, so that's always good. So what I've done is, you can kind of see I'm wanting to go in kind of a crescent shape here with my little branches. So I've just taken my branches, and you can just take them and trim them and cut them however you need to.
Audrey says, I can't wait until spring. We got 1 foot of snow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, in Mississippi it's been cold today, but we had almost a week, I would say, of really warm temperatures. High 60s, 70s, even 80s one day. And so everything has started to bloom out. You can see how pretty these branches are. And so I am just taking these and I'm just tucking them all the way around in this arrangement. But my goal is to kind of have a little bit of a crescent shape.
Eva Williamson says, hello, my flower friends. Enjoying my visit as always. Was wondering if you have ever done an arrangement using sweet peas.
I have not ever worked with sweet peas. I haven't. I don't know why I've never had sweet peas, but I have not. All right, I'm going to lay the extra branches over here on the floor.
Rhea says they say forsythia.
Forsythia.
In the UK.
Okay.
Forsythia. Miss Becky Dunlap says, yay, catching you live. I missed what type of branch you're using.
So this is called spirea. Mama always called it bridal wreath spirea. Is that right, Mama? Correct me. But this is spirea, which is just a blooming shrub, and it just sends up all of these little delicate branches, and it's just loaded with white. And then this we call here in the South forsythia, and it's got little, now this is not bloomed out nearly as much as it can bloom out, but these are just little yellow blooms on a branch. Again, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with my yellow. With my white forsythia, spirea, I'm just going to come in with the forsythia and kind of give us that same crescent shape. I'm just using my floral snips because these are woody branches, and snips are so much easier to work with than my knife.
Marites.
That's a beautiful name.
I'm sorry if I hope I pronounced it right. She says, hello, watching from Baltimore. I love watching your videos. Thank you so much for sharing your talent.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, thank you. So forsythia, it is more of it reminds me of what a burning bush would look like. In the Bible, when they say the burning bush, it kind of comes up like flames. So it starts real low and it has kind of long branches. And so it reminds me of what a burning bush would look like for some reason. Forsythia is really, really a very pretty kind of shrub, and it stays pretty and green pretty much year round. It doesn't really, I don't think it really loses its leaves. It doesn't get naked. It doesn't lose everything.
Dawn Miller asks if this is for a customer.
No, ma'am, this is for me, Miss Dawn. I actually just went and cut some branches from a friend's house. It's actually my mama's sweet friend. I called Mama this morning and I said, Miss Patty has blooming forsythia and spirea in her yard. Do you think I can go cut some? She's been in a care home for quite a while. And Mama said, I'll call her sister. And so she called Miss Kathy, and Miss Kathy called Billy, her son. Billy was actually there. And they said, of course, you can have as much as you want. So I was so excited to go and cut. But I just thought it would be fun to cut some things out of the yard and show you how to use gathered materials and make a beautiful fancy arrangement.
Lori Saunders says, Monty, finally caught you live. Nothing is blooming here in Maine. LOL. Please tell me again the name brand of your snips.
I do not know the name brand, but I will put the link for you, the Amazon link, because I don't know the name brand. I actually picked them up for the girls, and nobody likes them except, do you, Victoria? Do you like those snips?
Oh, I do.
Or is she talking about the fresh snips, or is she talking about the wire clippers that I used yesterday?
She just said the snips.
So, I've got two different types. The wire snips that I used yesterday are Cobalt brand, but these I don't know the brand of these. Okay, there's my branches. Honestly, this would be beautiful. I could so see this on my grandmother's table. When I was a little girl, this is so my grandmother's type of arrangement. I think I got my love of flowers from her because she loved them. Okay, so next we're going to come in. I picked some narcissus out of the yard and some daffodils. So I'm going to show you. It's hard to show you over this arrangement. Let me rearrange a little bit. I'm going to move this because it's got it so high.
Earlier, Miss Pam Ellis said, I just got back from making candy eggs.
Yum! Miss Pam Ellis, your candy eggs are delicious. Thank you for sending those to us. You are so kind to think of us. Y'all, Miss Pam Ellis, y'all are going to have us so fluffy. Miss Pam Ellis made homemade candy eggs, and they were peanut butter and coconut. And I'm so thankful that not many people in here like coconut because I get to eat the coconut ones. But they are delicious, delicious. Thank you so much for thinking of us. So the blooms, was she going to say something? Or she just came back from, okay, because I interrupted a smidge.
Yeah.
So this is called narcissus. Are we already dark?
Yeah.
We haven't
18 minutes in.
We haven't been on very long. So narcissus have tiny, tiny little blooms, and they're very, very fragrant. So if fragrance is something that you can't handle, narcissus is not something that you want to bring in your home because they're kind of overwhelming. I think they smell wonderful, but it's kind of overwhelming. They're a little bit of a white with a little yellow throat. They are so sweet and so pretty. So I'm going to start out with those. And when we were a kid, I don't really know where these bulbs came from, the narcissus bulbs, because they're not antique bulbs. I must have just bought them. Because most of these flowers came from my grandmother's house. Most of the bulbs came from my grandmama's house. Mama and I went out and dug up bulbs. So daffodils will come back every single year. And my grandmother had lots in her yard, and so Mama and I went and dug them up and planted them in my yard. So I'm just taking my little narcissus and I'm just tucking them kind of deep down into my arrangement.
Tammy says, I like how airy this is.
Isn't it fun with all those pretty branches?
Audrey asks, where do you buy your vessels?
So this is one of those containers that I bought from a thrift store or an antique store. This is one of those collectibles. I love milk glass, so I tend to look for milk glass at different places. And so this is just a personal container of mine that I will bring and arrange in. But a lot of times, like our vessels that we have that are just plain Jane, we just order from the wholesaler, the floral wholesaler.
You have several people are wishing are sending their well wishes to your mama.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to turn this around and kind of show you this side too. So I'm making it pretty on both sides. It's really kind of going to be pretty on both sides. Next, we're going to come in with some daffodils. So this is a traditional daffodil. This is probably the ones that came from my grandmother. Very traditional daffodils. Which this is, if you are ever going to ask Monty what her favorite flower is, the daffodil has been my favorite since I was a little bitty girl. And if you ask my sister, her favorite is a daffodil too. And this might be the reason yellow was my favorite. I'm not exactly sure where the color yellow was why that became my favorite, but as long as I can ever remember, the color yellow was my favorite, and daffodils were my favorite flower. So I'm just taking these blooms, I'm cutting them with my floral knife at an angle, and I'm just nestling them right into that floral foam. Now let me just say, this will not be a long-lasting arrangement. Daffodils do not really like floral foam, but for a short term, like if you were going to have a reception or a bridal party or anything like that, those are perfect for very short amounts of time in foam, but they're not going to last very long. They are going to be the happiest in just fresh water, and they're happiest all by themselves because they're kind of grumpy flowers, meaning other flowers don't really like daffodils because they have a sap, and that sap just makes other flowers not feel good. So you don't often see in floral design us use daffodils with mixed flowers. You're going to see them more used in just a single little vase of daffodils.
Michelle says, Monty, this year you will celebrate your birthday on Easter.
I will. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Miss Valerie McDonald says, can't wait for spring. It's freezing 25 degrees here and very windy.
No fun, huh? That is no fun. Okay, and then the last type of daffodil that I have blooming in my yard, they're kind of double blooms. When I was a little girl, I'm talking a lot about you, Mama. When I was a little girl, my mama would call them scrambled eggs because they do. They kind of have a little scrambled egg look. But they're double blooms and they're very fragrant. They're so pretty. And I'm not sure where this bulb came from. It may have just been mixed in with the others. But it's just kind of a double bloom. And so I'm just taking the different flowers, I'm just cutting those at an angle, and there's really no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of a stick them in because they're pretty.
Miss Doris asks if there is a better floral foam brand that you use, please and thank you.
I'll be honest. I'm not terribly picky with the brand of floral foam. This brand actually, and we've really liked it. We've had no problems whatsoever. This brand is called Thirsty Foam, and it came from a company called Ludwig. And isn't that right, Ludwig? I think that's right. And we order it in bulk, and so I get it for a really great price. I've not had any issues whatsoever with it keeping flowers fresh. It does a great job, so we've not had any issues with that. Okay, so the reason I choose it is because it's less expensive, and I would rather pay less for the mechanics and you get more for your money with the flowers. And if it's not a poor product, I like it. I'm not going to be too terribly picky. So we have found that it's really a good product. Next, we're going to add some ranunculus because those yellow ranunculus are just gorgeous. So let me show you. We're going to use a handful of ranunculus. So everything you see so far except the foliage has come from the yard. Next, we're going to use some beautiful, very soft yellow ranunculus. These all came from Budsy, and the foliage came from Budsy. But I'm going to show you a trick. Ranunculus tend to be a little bit floppy. They have a little bit of a mind of their own, and these buds are all tangled. So So see how he kind of has a little bit of a mind of his own? You can absolutely leave him the way he is. I got 2 floral knives over here. Or you can wire his head. But I'm going to take these buds. I cut them and left them kind of long. And I'm going to tuck them throughout. But I'm going to take this ranunculus. I'm going to kind of flare him a little bit. Now, ranunculus, as they warm up, they're going to get larger. They're going to open, their petals will open right up, and they'll get larger. That's a beautiful flower. That is a beautiful flower. And so I'm just going to leave him a little long and just kind of let him dip right out of that, drip kind of down out of that arrangement.
Miss Cheryl says, I love the milk glass. My mom had that same dish, and I have it now. I will try it in an arrangement.
You will love this container. It will be one of your favorites. I promise. It will become one of your favorites. But you know, for me, I'm always looking for something that's going to hold flowers. I'm like, this will hold flowers pretty. I'm going to buy this one.
Linda Welling says, when I went to floral school, they encouraged us to pick nature's flowers and make arrangements like you are. So pretty.
And aren't they the prettiest? Oh, they're so pretty. And this is a very fragrant arrangement. So this may be an arrangement that does not need to go to someone who has issues with lots of smells, because it's very fragrant, kind of like a lily arrangement. It does have lots of fragrance.
You kind of touched on this earlier. Miss Anita Green asks, how will the narcissus and daffodils hold up in foam? And Miss Margaret Lynch asks, do you find the stems don't like Oasis?
The daffodils don't like Oasis. They're not going to last very long. They're beautiful for a short term, like you could use this for a reception or a bridal party or anything like that, but they are not going to be very long lived in the floral foam. They're just not. They would prefer fresh water all day, every day. Most soft stem flowers are going to prefer fresh water. They're not going to prefer foam. Honestly, to be honest, no flower really prefers foam. Nobody's as happy in foam as they are in fresh water. But I get to design and be so much more creative in floral foam than I can in fresh water. Just because it does hold my flowers in place. I would like to do more practicing with frogs and pin frogs and different things like that to see how well you could put an arrangement together with a pin frog. The only problem with a pin frog is they are not made to move. They are not meant to be designed in and then delivered. And so that's the hardest part about a pin frog. But a pin frog is going to make for happier, longer lasting flowers because it does not have that foam that obstructs the stem. You know, the flowers just want to drink fresh water. And they're just happier with fresh water.
On YouTube, Maribel says, blessings from Puerto Rico.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for being here.
And Miss Irene says, hello from Holland. It is 23:21 in the evening.
Oh.
So 11:21.
That's late.
Mm-hmm. Miss Carolyn Malone Phillips says, I collect Westmoreland milk glass. Grandparents' name was Westmoreland, but not related to the famous Westmoreland family.
I don't know, Miss Carolyn, if I know. I'll have to look that up because I don't know if I know what Westmoreland milk glass is.
Miss Janice Sloan says, I have a problem with fragrance, so I could never bring my daffodils inside.
Yes, I tell you, they are very fragrant. It's really loud with fragrance.
Jackie Goodman asks about how long will this last?
I would say a couple days, 2 or 3 days. At the longest, 2 or 3 days. It's not going to be a very long lasting. Of course, every single thing would be happier out of the foam and would last probably a few more days, but they wouldn't be as pretty. They wouldn't be displayed as pretty, would they? I'm going to turn it around and see if my tape is showing. So my tape is showing right here. I can see that little tab of tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more of this eucalyptus. And with this style arrangement, guys, you can add as many flowers or as few flowers as you would like. I mean, it's really one of those that it's an all about you kind of arrangement. You are not going to do wrong with this type of arrangement, adding more or adding less. But this is very much a make Monty happy kind of arrangement. This is certainly, if you were going to ask me my favorite, this might be right up there with my favorite, and it's strictly because it's my favorite flowers with my favorite color. And it just screams happy to me. I always think of the color yellow as being sunshine, and don't we all need more sunshine in our life?
Miss Carolyn says that it has a capital W on the milk glass.
Okay, I'll have to look.
Miss Rolene Brown says, love this. I have all of it in my yard.
Well, you need to go cut it and make you a pretty arrangement. You do. You need to cut it and go make a beautiful arrangement. Now, you can do an arrangement with all of these things without using the foam. But I just kind of wanted it to be more of a styled arrangement. Now, we kind of lost our crescent a little bit when I added so many flowers here. Now, all of these flowers could be cut shorter. And what you're wanting with a crescent is you're wanting it to be more like a crescent moon, okay? But so this is a slight rendition of a crescent style arrangement.
Miss Cheryl says, Monty, you look so cute today.
Aw, thanks. Thank you.
They're loving the arrangement.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Are there any more questions?
Miss Eva asks, are sweet peas a flower that will not hold up in an arrangement? They are just so wistful and bouncy looking.
I tell you, I have never really dealt with sweet peas. Now, I've seen them in arrangements and all the things. I've never dealt with them. I don't know if I've ever held one in my hand, honestly. I know that their stems are really tiny and they're delicate, but I have never dealt with sweet peas. So I'm going to have to see if I can get my hands on some and we'll play with those. You got another question over there?
Well, Audrey on YouTube says that sweet peas are good in flower arrangements.
They are? And I've seen them, I've seen them in pictures and such, but I have never, I've never worked with them. And I'm not sure why, probably just because I've never really had them available to me. So I don't know, but I will have to get my hands on some, we'll play with them for sure.
Miss Janet Ezekiel says, I love the yellow flowers. Like you, yellow was my sister's favorite color.
Aww.
She passed away 4 years ago, and anytime I see yellow, it reminds me of her.
But isn't it wonderful? Isn't it interesting how fragrance and colors and certain things will remind you of a loved one? And isn't that a wonderful blessing that we still have those little things to remind us of our loved ones? And exactly like these daffodils, they remind me of our birthday and remind me of good times. And I love that. I love that memories are associated with smells and with colors and with different objects. It's so nice to be able to see something and think of those loved ones, isn't it?
Miss Amy says, lovely, what would something like this cost?
So every bit of this was harvested. So I do not have any idea besides the ranunculus. So I have no idea what you would charge for this. I'm sure if I bought in blooming branches, it would be expensive. But all of these were cut from the neighbor's yard. And anytime you go and cut from the neighbor's yard, ask permission. I need to say that out loud because sometimes there have been times when I thought, I just need that. But always ask permission before you cut from your neighbor's yard. But yeah, so I have no idea because this would not be something that I would be able to purchase. All of the daffodils were cut from my yard and all of the branches were cut from the neighbor's yard. The only blooms that we used were the ranunculus.
Miss Carolyn Malone Phillips says, by the way, the arrangement you made for my granddaughter to send me is absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Pink
good.
roses and lilies.
I'm so glad, Miss Carolyn. I'm so glad you love that. Any more questions?
I think that's it.
Guys, thank y'all for being here today. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, would you please like it for me? You can give a thumbs up or a heart on Facebook, and you can like it over on YouTube. Guys, if you have not checked out our YouTube videos, we would love to invite you over to YouTube. That is Owen's space over there. That's his favorite place, and that's where he works so hard to keep those videos up and going, and so we'd love to invite you over there. YouTube, join us over here on Facebook if you enjoy these types of videos. We go live here every single day of the week on Facebook doing flower arrangements and all of the sorts, so we'd love to have you join us here. Tomorrow we will go live at 8 in the morning and do another devotion, so we'd love to invite you here at 8 in the morning, and then we'll be back tomorrow afternoon to make another design. I do have some funeral work, so I'm not sure if we'll do that, but we'd love to have you join us back here tomorrow afternoon. If you have any more questions about anything we do in floral design, you can absolutely ask. I am happy to answer any questions you might have. So you can drop it here in the comments or send me a message over on Messenger, and we are happy to ask. And over on YouTube, Victoria checks your comments out every day. And she helps me answer those questions there. So you are welcome to ask there too. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much.